has that number changed over time? And which parts of the country do all these people choose to live in? If you want to know the answers to these questions and many more, then stay tuned.
This is CBRBC News Broadcast, brought to you by maple syrup, hockey, igloos, and curling. Now tell us more about how Canada has changed over time. Here is CRBC News anchor Sarah Monaghan.
Good evening, Canadians, and welcome to this edition of Chippewa Raiders Broadcast News. I'm Sarah Monaghan.
And I'm Tora Buttigieg. Today's top story: Canada hasn't always had the population it has today. At the outset of Confederation in 1867, there were only 3 million people living in this beautiful country of ours.
Yes, Tora, but 23 years later, by the year 1900, Canada was almost connected from coast to coast by railroad, and our population had nearly doubled since Confederation. By this time, there are 5 million people living across Canada.
Then later in 1914, on the eve of World War I, there were 8 million people living in this beautiful country.
Fast forward a couple of decades to 1939, when the world was about to go to war for the second time, and Canada was growing quickly. There were 12 million people living in Canada at this time.
Well, Sarah, by 1960, the World War was a distant memory, and the Canadian population was increasing quickly during the baby boom. 17 million people were living in Canada at this time, and they were getting ready to deal with the hippies.
Fast forward another 30 years to 1990, and we are now at 27 million Canadians who are ready for a decade of grunge music and internet connectivity.
And today, Sarah, about 36 million people call Canada home, and some of them rarely get a chance to see the beautiful natural scenery because their eyes are glued to tiny handheld screens.
Wow, 36 million Canadians. We've grown a lot. Where do these Canadians live?
In BC, there are 4.5 million Canadians.
In Alberta, there are 4 million Canadians.
In Saskatchewan, there are 1.1 million Canadians.
In Manitoba, there are 1.3 million Canadians.
In Ontario, there are 13.5 million Canadians.
In Quebec, there are 8.4 million Canadians.
In the Maritimes, there are 2.4 million Canadians.
And in the Northern Territories, there are only 100,000 Canadians.
So Sarah, why do people choose to live in different areas of our country? To get to the bottom of this, we'd like to talk with our reporters who are on the scene right now. Let's start with the Northern Territories. Why are there so few people who live in the Northern Territories? Let's find out. Let's hear from our reporters on the scene.
Hello, I am Emma from CRNB News to talk about the Northern Territories population. The population in the Northern Territories is very small, well, 1,000 people small. But why? Is it the Food prices, or the lack of highways to enter, or maybe the fact that it really does take skill to live in this part of Canada? Well, here today we're going to be talking to someone who lives in the Northern Territories.
Thanks for the opportunity. Here in the Northern Territories, we have all the land and, well, none of the people. Our barren tundra isn't very suitable for humans. Our food is extremely expensive as well. But those who live here do get by, even in the cold.
Thank you, Jamie, for talking to us about the Northern Territories. We really do have amazing questions about it as to why people choose not to live there, and maybe even why people do choose to live here. But thank you for answering some of our questions.
Wow, that sounds like a tough and cold life. And now let's visit Ontario and Quebec with our reporters there.
Hi, I'm Tora Buttigieg. And I'm Noelle. And we're from CRNB News, and we're here to tell you why so many people live in Eastern Canada. Tora, do you know any features of Ontario?
Yeah, of course. Did you know Ontario has more than 250,000 lakes and grows an assortment of fruits and veggies and wheat? Ontario is also home to a wide selection of animals, including white-tailed deer, porcupines, Canadian geese, black bears, and more.
Wow, 250,000 lakes? The neighboring province of Ontario had 8,000 lakes and consists of 3 landform regions. Ontario and Quebec also have 62% of Canadians' population.
Well, do you know why so many people live in Canada, Tora?
Well, it may account for the mild winters in southern Ontario, as the north can get very cold. Or maybe the fact that it has many wonderful attractions, including Canada's Wonderland and the CN Tower.
Don't forget the 2 international airports and the access to the American border.
Yes, of course. Those are helpful.
The climate in East Canada is very mild and the temperature ranges -12 degrees to 21 degrees. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Very interesting. Well, what about the west coast of Canada? Tell us all about it. We have reporters on the ground in beautiful British Columbia.
This is Ali and Lisa reporting from the Canadian West.
So what kind of cities and towns can you find in the Canadian West?
On the coastal side, there's Vancouver and Victoria. On the interior side, there's Kelowna and Penticton.
There are about 4.5 million people living there.
So why are there so many Canadians living in the Canadian West?
The climate there is mild and pleasant. The temperatures rarely go under 0 degrees. On the coastal side, which is west of the Rockies, it is raining in the winter and cool in summer. So don't forget to bring your umbrella if you're planning to visit there. On the interior side, it is sunny and dry.
Don't forget to bring your sunscreen if you want to go to there.
Wouldn't you like to live in a place where it rarely freezes or it's sunny most of the time?
It's so beautiful here. There are pine needle trees, there are the Rockies. They're not only the climate, but the nature is so beautiful as well.
The Canadian West is a very popular location given its climate and stunning nature. You should definitely visit there at least once in your lifetime.
Tune in next time for more news. Ali and Lisa out.
Wow, no wonder there's a big population on our west coast. Now, how does that compare to our maritime provinces? To find out, let's pass it over to our team on scene.
This is Willow Tabachi.
And this is Olivia Clavo, reporting from the Triple R Raider News broadcast. The Maritimes include New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and Newfoundland and Labrador.
The Maritimes have a decent population of 2.4 million people. In Nova Scotia, there are many activities because of the many lakes. This includes fishing, lobster catching, and whale watching.
They also have farming, but being near cold ocean currents causes problems to agricultural because of the strong wind and growing season.
But that doesn't stop people from coming to enjoy the variety of seafood they serve.
The average January temperature is -4 degrees Celsius, and the average July temperature is 18 degrees Celsius.
Being Canadian, this is a pretty warm temperature.
It's no wonder why so many Canadians choose to live in the Maritimes. I'm Olivia Clavo.
And I'm Willow Tabachi.
Back to you, Sarah and Tora.
Yes, I've always dreamed of living near the Atlantic, but I also love the huge skies of our Canadian prairies. Here to tell us more about that region is our ground crew.
Hi, my name is Peter Bridges, on scene live for CRMB News, here to tell you why so few people live in the prairies. In the prairies, there are lots of cities such as Calgary, Saskatoon, Regina, and Winnipeg. In the prairies, there are lots of physical and human characteristics. Some physical ones would be grasslands, western cordillera, and the interior plains. Some human ones would be farms, crop fields, etc. In the prairies, there are about 5 million people. The prairies are known to have small cities, harsh winters, and humid summers. This is probably why there are so few people.
Thank you, team. Now that we know so much about what each area of Canada has to offer, we hope you're better equipped to answer the question, where would you like to live? This is Sarah Monin signing off for Chippewa Raiders Broadcast News.
And I'm Tora Buttigieg, also signing off.
Until next time, keep your stick on the ice, Canada.